Have you ever wondered how many women walk through life without realizing just how incredibly captivating they actually are? And I'm not just talking about physical looks here, there's something much deeper going on. There's this subtle energy, this unique way you move, observe, express yourself, and just exist in the world that can truly leave a man totally mesmerized, even when you don't notice it happening. What's honestly fascinating is that so many women overlook this. You think that because you don't fit some cookie-cutter beauty standard, you couldn't possibly be all that alluring. But the truth is, what actually grabs our attention goes way beyond having a tiny waist or perfect makeup. It's that quiet confidence, that sense of authenticity you can't fake, that vibe you give off the moment you walk into a room even if you don't say a word. So in today's video, I want to break down the biggest signs that you are way more attractive than you realize. And trust me, men notice this stuff, even if we try to act cool about it. Some of these signals are so subtle you might not even know how much of an impact you're making. But I promise, we feel it. Stick around until the end, because the 9th sign is one that most women totally overlook. But for us guys, it's pretty much irresistible. I really think that after watching this, you'll start seeing yourself from a whole new angle. Sign number 1, men get nervous around you. This is honestly one of the most genuine and, at the same time, most underrated signs of all. See, when a guy is into you, and you really blow him away, his body will give him away even if he's trying to play it cool. Sometimes when a guy seems a little clumsy around you, or he avoids making eye contact, or even seems a bit uncomfortable, you might think he's just not interested. But actually, it's usually the opposite. He's probably more into you than he knows how to handle. Next time you're around a guy, pay attention to his body language. Is he touching his neck, fidgeting with his clothes, crossing and uncrossing his arms for no reason? Or maybe he starts talking super fast or way slower because he's worried about messing up. Sometimes he'll just go quiet, like he's suddenly forgotten how to speak. And it's not that he isn't confident or doesn't have a personality. It's just that your presence throws him off balance. There really are women out there who don't just attract physically. They make an impression just by being themselves. Your energy, your attitude, your whole vibe can make even the most confident man feel like he's in over his head. So if you notice a usually relaxed guy getting tense or suddenly looking like he's more focused on what his hands are doing than on what he's actually saying, trust me, you're having a huge effect on him. And whatever you do, don't dim your light to make things easier for him. Own that power. If a guy is getting nervous around you, it means he sees you as someone worth a lot more than just a casual chat. Sign number 2, people keep glancing at you, even if they don't say a word. This one might sound simple, but it's honestly one of the biggest signs, and it's super underrated. When a woman is really attractive, even if she doesn't realize it, everyone else does. You might think you're just walking by, heading into a cafe, or standing in line at the store, but from our perspective, something about you just draws people in. Here's the thing, it's not just about someone glancing as you walk past. What really matters is that second look, the one where they've already walked by, but they actually turn their head to check you out again. That right there means you left some kind of impression that just couldn't be satisfied by a quick glance. That second look is the most honest way someone, whether it's a man or even another woman, confirms to themselves that there's something genuinely striking about you. And honestly, it's not about whether you're wearing something flashy or you've got your hair done perfectly. Sometimes it's just your posture, the way you walk, the calm but magnetic vibe you carry. It's not something you force, it's just there. True attraction isn't something anyone has to announce. It's something you pick up on, almost like a sixth sense. Most of the time, you won't even notice. You're focused on your phone, or just thinking about where you need to go next. But if you catch someone looking at you twice, without saying anything, that's a dead giveaway you have something special. Something people can't quite explain, but can definitely feel. And yes, sometimes we want to say something, but that second glance alone already says more than words ever could. Sign number 3, you brush off compliments, but you get them all the time. This is honestly one of the clearest and most ironic signs that you're far more attractive than you think. Have you ever noticed that on days when you feel kind of meh, you still get told you look amazing? Or you get comments like, "I can't even put my finger on it, but there's just something about you." That's not random luck. That's a huge sign that you're putting out an energy that people find captivating even when you're not trying. This actually happens a lot with women who are authentic, who aren't obsessed with looking perfect, but who just naturally spark something in others. Maybe you think your hair is a mess, or your outfit is nothing special, or you're not feeling confident about your body. And yet, the compliments keep rolling in. Why? Because your attractiveness is way more than what you see in the mirror. Guys pick up on this, even if we can't explain it. There's something in your voice, the way you speak, how you laugh, how at ease you are in your own skin that makes us think she has no idea what an impact she makes. And honestly, that gap between how you see yourself and how others see you is actually part of what makes you so magnetic. You're not trying to impress anyone. You're just being yourself, and that kind of authenticity, mixed with natural feminine energy, is pretty much impossible to resist. So next time someone tells you that you have something special, instead of denying it, try believing it, because that something is you. Sign number 4. Guys look for excuses to talk to you even if it's just about nothing. This is a classic sign that flies under the radar for a lot of women. When a guy really likes you, but doesn't quite know how to make a move, he'll start coming up with all kinds of random excuses just to interact with you. And usually, it's over the most trivial stuff, asking for help with something, needing you to explain something simple, wanting a quick recommendation, or just asking for a little favor. On the surface, it seems casual, but trust me, it's not. Guys who are attracted, but a little intimidated, will almost never just come out and say it. Instead, we'll show up with all these silly pretexts just to get close to you, without making it obvious that we're flirting. And if you notice that it's not just a one-off thing, but it keeps happening, that this person always seems to find a reason to text you, call you, ask for your help, or be near you, even for the smallest things, there's your sign. What they're asking for isn't really the point, it's just a cover for wanting to be around you. A lot of the time, you might not even notice. It just feels normal, or maybe even kind of sweet. But if you pay attention, those little excuses are actually a big deal. They're about wanting to connect, get closer, and grab your attention. So next time someone asks you for help with something they could easily do themselves, notice the context. Is there a nervous smile, a different tone in their voice, an intense look? Sometimes as simple, "Hey, can you show me how to do this?" really means, "I have no idea how to just talk to you, but I really want to." Sign 5. Other women criticize you for no real reason. Okay, I know this isn't the most fun topic, but we need to talk about it honestly. Because when a woman is genuinely attractive, not just in how she looks, but in her presence, her confidence, her energy, not everyone is going to react positively. And here's the thing, it's rarely because of anything you're actually doing. Most of the time, you're not even trying to stand out. Yet, you might notice some women giving you side eyes, making passive-aggressive comments, or criticizing you for things that just don't make sense. Maybe it's that you're too much, too confident, too pretty, too polished, or even just too friendly. Here's what's really going on. That kind of criticism isn't about you at all. It's about how those people feel when they're around you. Your attractiveness, your energy, especially if you're not even aware of it, can make other people, especially those who are a bit insecure, suddenly look at themselves more harshly, and that can trigger a reaction. Have you ever had someone call you stuck up when you literally hadn't even said a word? Or noticed someone trying to compete with you about something you couldn't care less about? That's what I'm talking about. Now, not every woman will react this way. In fact, many women will admire you, be inspired by you, or just want to become friends because of your energy. But if you start to notice those random criticisms, weird looks, or comments that seem aimed at cutting you down, don't take it personally. Actually, take it as a sign that you're shining brighter than you think. Because your energy, your presence, the way you just exist in a room, that can make people who aren't comfortable with themselves feel uncomfortable. It's not fair, but honestly, it's one of the clearest signs that you're very attractive, even if you haven't fully wrapped your head around it yet. Sign 6. People smile at you for no reason, even strangers. Has this ever happened to you? You're out and about, maybe walking down the street, in the grocery store, on a bus, and suddenly a stranger, especially a guy, just gives you a smile. He doesn't say anything, doesn't try to start a conversation, but you catch him smiling. Sometimes it's shy, almost like he's embarrassed you noticed. Other times it's confident, like, "Wow, this woman has such good energy." Even if it seems small, It's not. That smile is a direct reflection of what you're putting out into the world. Because when a woman is truly attractive, and again, not just in the physical sense it radiates, it's in the way you walk, the way you look at people, the way you just exist. That kind of magnetism is hard to ignore, and it makes people want to connect, even without words. Sometimes, men find themselves smiling at you without even really knowing why. It's almost like a silent greeting, a way of saying, "Wow, you've got something special," even if they're too nervous or shy to actually say it out loud. And here's the thing, this kind of smile can't be forced. It's not something someone does on purpose. It just happens as a natural response to the energy you put out. So the next time someone gives you a random smile, don't brush it off. You're not trying to get attention, you just naturally generate it. Sign 7. Even men in relationships can't help but look at you. I know this one can be a little uncomfortable, and it's definitely not about encouraging or wanting this kind of attention, but we need to be real about it. When a woman has that special energy, it's pretty much impossible for people not to notice. And sometimes, even men who are already in relationships have a hard time not glancing your way. Let's be clear, I'm not saying it's right, or that you're doing anything to encourage it, but it happens more than you might realize. You might be at a party, walking down the street, having coffee, and suddenly you catch a lingering look from a guy who you know is taken. Most of the time, they'll try to hide it, because they know they probably shouldn't be doing it, but their body language gives them away. It's a look that lasts just a bit too long. That's because attraction isn't always something people can control, especially when it's about something deeper than just looks. It's your essence, your presence, your vibe, and it's not something you're doing on purpose. So don't feel uncomfortable or guilty about it. It's actually a sign of how powerful your feminine energy really is. It's magnetic, and it's hard to ignore even for people who, technically, should. Sign 8. You get a ton of attention on social media even when you're not trying. This is one a lot of women don't give themselves enough credit for. You post a casual photo, nothing dramatic, no sultry poses, nothing revealing or attention-grabbing, and suddenly your DMs light up, the likes start piling in, and people start reacting to your stories. Does that sound familiar? And you might catch yourself thinking, what's so special about this picture? But the truth is, it's not about the photo, it's about you. When a woman is truly attractive, she doesn't need to show off to get attention. What's captivating isn't just what people see, it's what you transmit. Your authenticity, your natural gaze, your vibe, it comes through, even on a screen. And believe me, guys pick up on it. Some of us are even a little intimidated by it, because it's so much feminine energy packed into such a subtle form. What's really interesting is that most women don't even realize this is happening. You think you need to do more, show more, curate every post. But honestly, your real power is just in being yourself. You could be in a basic t-shirt, no makeup, just sharing a normal moment from your day, and the attention still comes. That's one of the clearest signals. You are way more attractive than you think, even when you're not even trying. Sign 9. Men get confused around you. This is a sign a lot of women don't fully understand. Maybe you've noticed it. A guy seems super interested, gives you a lot of attention, compliments you, tries to spend time with you, and then, out of nowhere, he pulls back. Maybe he even disappears for a while. But then, just as suddenly, he's back, acting like nothing happened. You might wonder, is he playing games with me? What's going on? Here's the real story. A lot of times, he's not playing games at all. He's genuinely struggling with his feelings. Because when a guy is really drawn to a woman, especially if he sees her as exceptional, it can throw him off his game. He might feel intimidated or unsure what to say or do, so he backs off. Not because he's not interested, but honestly because he's too interested. The catch is, you might think he's not into you when really, he just doesn't know how to handle what he's feeling. Some guys even disappear because they don't feel good enough or need to regroup. Others pull away and then come back once they've gathered their courage. Either way, the message is the same. You've genuinely unsettled him in a good way. So the next time a guy seems hot and cold, or pulls away, and then circles back, pay attention. It's not always emotional confusion. Sometimes it's just pure, raw attraction, and he honestly doesn't know what to do with it. Sign 10. You don't realize your own power, and that's what makes it so strong, honestly. This is probably the most powerful sign of all. It happens way more often than you might think. The most attractive women are often the ones who have no idea or just don't believe it. They go through life second-guessing themselves, comparing themselves to others, wondering if they're good enough when in reality, they're the ones quietly making the biggest impact wherever they go. And let me just tell you this from the male perspective. It is so obvious. You can see it when a woman walks into a room not even trying to get attention, and yet everyone notices. You can hear it when she speaks, not trying to impress, but somehow ends up impressing everyone anyway. Why? Because she's not trying, she's just being herself. That's authenticity. And when a woman lives authentically, it's incredibly powerful. But here's the thing, if you don't recognize it in yourself, that power stays kind of hidden, like a light shining under a cover. The moment you start to see it not out of arrogance, but from a calm, quiet certainty in your own worth, something changes. Your body language shifts, your energy shifts, even the way you look at people shifts. And trust me, it can be felt from across the room. So if you're someone who still sometimes doubts the energy you give off, remember, your power doesn't begin when someone else notices it. It starts the moment you recognize it in yourself. Sign 11. Your absence is felt even more than your presence. Let me explain this one, because it's kind of magical. Sure, there are women who, when they walk into a room, everyone looks. But there's another kind of woman, maybe you, that has an even more subtle effect. When you leave, everything feels different. The room seems a little quieter. The atmosphere shifts. It's like your energy, your warmth, the way you make things flow, is suddenly missing, and people feel it even if they don't say anything. Maybe nobody points it out directly. Maybe you don't even notice yourself. But when a woman leaves that kind of impression, it's not just about what she looks like or what she does, it's about how she makes others feel. And when you're not there, the contrast is obvious. Conversations feel a little duller. The vibe cools down. And sometimes people even find themselves thinking about you after you've left. That's what makes you unforgettable. You don't just show up, you linger in people's memory, in their thoughts, in their skin, even if you didn't say a word. So if you've ever had someone reach out after you left a party, or if you catch someone watching you as you walk away, don't ignore it. That's just another way of saying, your presence moved me, and that can't be faked. It's just part of who you are. Sign 12. Silence with you feels intense, not awkward. This is one of those signs that hardly any women notice, but men definitely do. When a woman is truly attractive, you don't have to fill every second with conversation. Just being in the same room with you creates this powerful, almost electric energy even in silence. Have you ever been with someone and suddenly there's a pause in the conversation? But he doesn't get uncomfortable. He doesn't start checking his phone or looking for something to do. He just sits there, content, completely present with you. That is not a coincidence. That's pure attraction. It's not that he doesn't know what to say, it's that he's genuinely soaking up what he's feeling. Sometimes he might even be thinking, why do I feel so good just being near her? How can someone have this much impact without saying a thing? That kind of comfortable silence, that sense of intensity without any effort, only happens when a woman radiates something far beyond physical beauty. It's a feeling of calm, depth, mystery, all wrapped up in your presence. So the next time there's a quiet moment between you and a man, and he doesn't pull away or rush to fill the gap, just know your energy is already speaking for you. And when that happens, you've already captured his attention without even trying. Now, let's flip this around for a second. How many of these signs have you noticed in your own life? Has someone ever looked at you in a way you didn't quite understand, or given you attention for reasons you couldn't really explain? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear your story. Sometimes, what you don't see in yourself is exactly what others are experiencing in a really intense way. And sharing your experiences can help you recognize just how much power you actually carry inside. If this video helped you see yourself in a new light, if it made you realize that there's something about you that doesn't need to be explained or approved by anyone, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Because here, we're not just talking about surface level stuff, we're talking about energy, presence, and that kind of magnetism you can't buy or fake. It's something you feel. Never doubt what you're radiating. The way you walk, the way you look at people, the way you simply exist, it leaves a mark. And so often, while you're sitting there wondering if you're enough, There are people out there who would give anything just to be near you. So yes, you are already so much more than you think. And honestly, this is just the beginning for you. So let's recap what we've covered. So many women move through the world thinking they need to work harder, look a certain way, or constantly improve themselves just to be noticed. But the truth is, your most captivating qualities are the ones that can't be manufactured or copied. They're the things that happen when you're simply being yourself. That's your real niche, the unique space only you can fill. And here's the wild part. Most of these signs, you're probably not even aware of them as they're happening. The nervousness you inspire, the double takes, the compliments you don't think you deserve, the random smiles, these are all reflections of the energy you're putting out into the world. Even when you're not trying, you might still feel like you have to change something about yourself to fit in or stand out. But I promise, what truly draws people in is your authenticity and the way you naturally carry yourself. Your real power isn't in how perfectly you present, it's in how fully you show up as you. Flaws and all, that's what stays with people. That's what leaves a room feeling emptier when you leave, or makes a silence feel deeper when you're there. And it's not just about attracting men or getting attention. This is the kind of presence that inspires other women. Too, it's the kind of energy that can shift a conversation, change the mood of a gathering, or even brighten someone's entire day. When you walk in your own light, you unconsciously give others permission to do the same. Let's talk about what this means for you moving forward. If you start to notice these signs in your life, don't brush them off, don't minimize them, or talk yourself out of believing them. Instead, let them be little reminders that you are already enough. You don't have to do more, be more, or try to fix yourself to be seen, valued, or loved. Instead of questioning your worth, start recognizing it. When someone gets nervous around you, don't shrink to make them comfortable. When you get a random smile, smile back, let that energy flow both ways. When you walk into a room, hold your head high and know you belong there just as much as anyone else. And if you're dealing with criticism or jealousy from others, try not to internalize it. Sometimes, your shine will highlight other people's insecurities, but that's their journey, not yours. Keep being kind, but never apologize for the light you bring. Remember, being truly attractive isn't about chasing validation. It's about living in a way that feels true to you. When you own who you are, when you walk, speak, and even sit in your own authentic energy, it's magnetic. That's something nobody can fake, and nobody can take away. Before you go, I want you to do something for yourself. Think back on moments when people have reacted to you in some of these ways. Maybe it was that friend who always wants your advice, or that coworker who lights up when you enter the room. Maybe it was the stranger who smiled at you, or the guy who seemed to stumble over his words. Let those memories remind you that your presence matters more than you know. And if you're still not convinced, here's a challenge for the next week. Try to notice how people respond to your energy, not your looks, your clothes, or your makeup, but your actual vibe. Write it down if you want. I think you'll be surprised by what you discover. So, if this video gave you a fresh perspective or helped you see yourself in a new way, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss a post. And if you have your own story to share, maybe a moment when you realized you were having more of an effect than you thought, leave it in the comments below. Your experiences might be exactly what another woman needs to hear today. Here, our community isn't about perfection. It's about presence, energy, and celebrating what makes each of us unique and powerful in our own right. You are already more than enough. You are already captivating, just as you are. And every day is a new opportunity to embrace that and let your light shine even brighter. Thank you for hanging out with me today. Remember, you don't have to wait for anyone else to see your magic. The moment you recognize it in yourself, everything changes. And that's when the real journey begins. I'll see you in the next one. Take care and keep shining.